Hello everyone, Zane here and welcome to another Final Fantasy XIV video. Today I want to go over the White Mage healer job in Final Fantasy XIV for those of you who are new to Final Fantasy XIV or want to try healing altogether. So first tip for healers is when you're doing White Mage, you have 3 different skills for healing. Cure, Cure 2, and then Cure 3. Cure 1 is going to be replaced with Cure 2 at level 30. And also at level 40 you get Cure 3. This is going to be a AoE heal with a radius of 10 yalms, which is very hard to hit everybody, especially when you have ranged who are out into the far left, the far right, and you have your tank in front of you. You can use this on yourself, and you can use yourself as the radius around you if you're trying to hit most people. Otherwise, if you're trying to hit somebody way far away, you kind of want to use Medica 2, which has a 20 yalm range, or Medica, which has a 15 yalm range, which has 900 MP cost, 1000 MP cost, and Cure 3 has a whopping 1500. So you don't want to spam Cure 3. It's only used in emergency situations where you need a lot of HP recovered, because it has a cure potency of 600. Medica 2 has 250, but it gives you 150 potency regen for 15 seconds, also known as a hot, healing over time, and Medica does a 400 cure potency. The reason why Medica 2 has a 1000 MP cost is because the regen is applied to it. Well, Medica is a flat, straight up heal. So when you get level 30, you're going to be using Cure 2 over Cure 1. Unless you die and then you have very low NP and your tank needs healing, then you can go ahead and use Cure 1. But otherwise, you go with Cure 2. Tip number 2, and this goes for any healer. At level 14, you get Lucid Dreaming. This is going to gradually restore your MP at 55 potency for 21 seconds. Usually around 7500 MP, you kind of want to start using Lucid Dreaming. So on a 60-second cooldown, by the time you need MP again, your Lucid Dreaming should be off cooldown to use it again. For White Mages, you have an ability called a Size, and this is going to be around level 56. This is going to give you a 5% maximum MP restoration. So ultimately, 500 MP back. This is also an attack, but you ultimately want to use it for the attack and not the MP cost. So when you are down, say 500 MP, you can go ahead and use a Size. So now let's talk about AoE. So Holy on White Mage has a stun, and it's the only healer that actually has a stun for 4 seconds, and it has an 8 yalm radius. For Scholars, Art of War is a plus on 2 enemies, but usually for AoEs you want to have 3 or more, but Art of War is a special case. Now with Holy, it is unbeneficial to use it with a Dark Knight when they use Living Dead, which is their invuln, because you need your enemy to attack your Dark Knight in order for invuln to go off. They have to ultimately die. So when you're using your stun Holy, you're stunning the enemy for 4 seconds. Now if you continuously use Holy, the stun will be cut in half. So 4 to 2 to 1, and then if you use it one more time, it becomes resistant. This is what you call diminishing returns. It gets weaker as it goes on, and then after a minute has passed after they become resistant, they can be re-stunned again. This also goes for you as well. If you become afflicted with a status effect and then you become immune to it, you will have to wait a minute for your body to again get stunned, paralyzed, and whatever else. So that is the trick to using Holy. Don't use it on a Living Dead Dark Knight until the invuln goes off. Now please note that Holy is also a form of mitigation since your enemy cannot attack while stunned. So the next thing I want to talk about is Thin Air. So Thin Air is an ability that reduces your MP cost to 0 for one ability for 12 seconds. These used to be for continuous spells, but they changed it to only be 1. Otherwise White Mage would be broken. So ultimately what you use this on is Raise, which costs you 2400 MP. White Mage is the only one that actually can reduce your MP to 0. So when you use Thin Air, MP cost is gone, then you want to pair with Swift Cast. You also can use this on other abilities like Medica 2, Medica 3, or even Cure 3. So you have a free 1500 MP cost heal for absolutely nothing with Thin Air, and you get 2 charges so you can use it twice. Now let's talk about instant cast heals. So at level 52 you get Afflatus Solace, or a trait that gives you lilies. These will regenerate every 20 seconds while in combat, up to 3. Once you have gotten to a certain level, which is level 74, you get ffxiv Misery, which is a flower that you can use after using all 3 of your lilies, which will give a whopping 1360 potency for the first enemy, and then 50% for the remaining. It is a powerhouse ability. Okay, you also get an AoE, which is going to be here, ffxiv Rapture at level 76. It uses the Lily as well for 400 cure potency. You want to utilize these lilies as much as you possibly can to save yourself MP on Cure 2, or Medica 2, or Medica 3, or Cure 3. The 2 other spells that you guys can use for insecures is going to be Tetragrammaton, which does 700 potency, and it has 2 charges, and you have a 60-second recharge time. Then you have Benediction, which does a full heal every 180 seconds. This is going to be your Hail Mary heal on any tank who's basically on death's door. I think they also made this response time a little bit quicker, so there was no more delay when you're using it, because sometimes you would use it, the effect would take like a second or 2 to go off, and then by that time your tank is dead. So with Benediction, you get a free full heal, and White Mage is the only healer that actually has Benediction. Now let's talk about healing over time, or HOT for short. So White Mage has 2. You have Regen, obviously, and then you have Asylum, which is an AoE. So Regen is going to give you a 250 cure potency over 18 seconds. So every 3 seconds, which is a server tick, you get a cure potency of 250. This also works for dots or damage over time as well. Asylum is a placed AoE heal, or a HOT, and when you're inside of this bubble, which you can plainly see, you get the regen and of course a increase to magic healing spells. Like Medica 2, Medica 3, Cure 1, and Cure 2. Or any of the insta heals as well. Now when you're doing a single target regen, make sure that you let the regen do its full duration. Don't reapply it too early, because you can use that GCD on something like attacking or putting up a dot on your enemy. So let it do its full duration and then reapply as necessary. And that's basically regens in a nutshell. Also note there's no disadvantage of giving your tank a regen before they pull enemies. There's no aggro generated before they pull, but after you pull, if you actually apply a regen, whatever enemy isn't aggro to your tank will ultimately attack you. So next let's talk about shields. You're a pure healer, but yet you still have shields available to you. Used to be called Stone Skin, but now they changed it to Divine Venison. So it creates a barrier around yourself or target member that absorbs damage equal to a heal of 500 potency for 15 seconds with 2 charges, and this is going to be a 30-second recast time. So when you use it on an ally, you can see on their hotbar or their HP bar here, the yellow bar. That is going to be their shield. When that is broken, then their HP will start to decrease after that. The other one that we have is called Divine Caress after using Temperance. This is also going to apply it to a shield as well, but also applies a regen after the fact that it is done with a cure potency of 200 for 15 seconds. The other mitigation that we have to give our party members is Aqua Veil. It's not a shield, but is a damage reduction for 15 seconds, which can be helpful when your tank is out of cooldowns. And the last 2 abilities that White Mage has for curing is Plenary Indulgence, which only works for Medica, Medica 3, Cure 3, and ffxiv Rapture. I actually thought this worked for any healing ability, but apparently it's only AoE. So it lasts for 10 seconds and gives anybody around you a confession. And the cure potency is going to be increased by 200. Okay, so you ultimately want to use this when your party needs more healing than necessary, especially if they have a doom that requires a full HP cleanse, such as the Seed of Sacrifice when he uses the True Living Dead ability. So this can definitely help you guys top off quicker. And the last thing is, of course, the bell here. Now you get 5 stacks of the bell, which every time you take damage, you lose 1 stack. And the cure potency is going to be 400. When the bell runs out, because of the duration, or if you trigger the effect the second time, you get 200 cure potency times or whatever the stacks are left over. Alright, so that is going to be like 180 recast time for that, and the indulgence is a 1 minute cooldown for that. So we're going to go into a duty. I'm going to show you guys the Lily Bell in action. Alright, so here we are with Ultimate Extreme. So put down the Lily, and every time we get hit, a stack will fall off, so pay attention to the thing up here. There's one hit, and when this falls off, whatever remaining stacks are left, you get that cure potency times 200. And there it goes. Now let's finish off Ultima here. So if you have 2 White Mages using the Lily Bell, it's even more healing that you're taking. And this is great when you're doing raids that do massive damage in a row. So that's the Lily Bell in action. So now let's talk about doing damage. Yes, as a healer you have to do damage, otherwise if you're going to harder content like Extremes, Savage, and Ultimates, you're going to be meeting what is called Enrage. And Enrage means that the boss is sick and tired of you and you'll wipe everybody out. So it's important that you attribute to the damage when healing is not necessary. That's going to take some practice depending on what you're doing. So first you get Stone at level 1 and Arrow your dot at level 4. At Stone 2 is level 18 and Arrow 2 is level 46. That's basically going to upgrade from your lesser skills. At level 45 you got your Holy. Stone 3 is level 54. Assize is level 56. Stone 4 is level 64, and then Shadowbringers you change from Arrow to Dia, and then you change from Stone to Glare. So that's going to be doing 75 potency, and then 75 potency per tick. You got Afflatus Misery, which I showed you earlier. Glare 3 is where you're going to be spamming the most. Holy 3 at level 82, and then you got Glare 4, which is going to combo off of Presence of Mind. This is going to increase your spell casting, or decrease your spell casts and your auto attacks by 20% for 15 seconds, and you get 3 stacks of Glare 4. And you usually want to use this when it is available. So you do your 3 Glares, then quickly switch over to Glare 3 until Presence of Mind falls off. Just like that. And of course make sure that your dots are up as well. Never use a dot until it falls off, because that is a GCD that you're wasting on a dot instead of using Glare 3. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now I want to talk about Cure 3. This is something that people always somehow manage to screw up because they don't understand that it is not a single target heal, it is an AoE, and you should never use it unless you desperately need a maximum heals. Okay, so you're going to have my Chocobo attack this dummy, so I can show you guys how limited 10 Yalms looks like. So I'm going to cast from here using myself as the measuring stick. So that is not 10 Yalms since my Chocobo didn't get healed. Let's move up a little further. Now we did. So let's step back a smidge. Okay, so basically right about here is 10 Yalms. Now let's say someone over here is standing like a ranged or whatever. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to reach them because the cure only goes 10 Yalms from where I'm standing since I'm using it on myself. But if I target my Chocobo and he's 10 Yalms within the target in the back, then the back person will receive it, I will receive it, and the Chocobo will receive it. So if you're doing the group content and everyone's spread out, most likely not everybody was going to get healed, and that person's going to die because they're not getting healed with Cure 3. Then otherwise you'd use Medica 2, Medica 3, because that's the upgrade, or Medica 1 instead, or Afflatus Rapture. Alright guys, so that's pretty much everything that I wanted to cover with White Mage. The one thing I wanted to give you guys for advice is to practice, practice, practice. Know thy content. Do everything as a DPS first, learn the tank busters, learn the raid wides, know the mechanics of what you're doing. This way when you go in as a healer, you know exactly what to expect and how to handle the situation. People will die regardless of how prepared that you are, so just take it as is and try to become better. If anybody gives you any BS, just ignore them and just try to do better. If someone gives you helpful criticism, take it and try to apply that into your next run. But never take everything as someone being toxic. Alright, because some people in this game really do want to help. Okay? So good luck out there. I will see you guys in the next one. Make sure you check out the rest of my channel for more Final Fantasy XIV content. Ask any questions in the comment section down below. If you need help with anything, I'll be more than happy to help you guys out with that. And I will see you guys in the next one. And that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you're new for more Final Fantasy XIV content and help with the YouTube algorithm. If you guys want to support my channel even further, consider becoming a YouTube member, Patreon supporter, or help me on Ko-Fi. The links for those will be in the description down below, as well as my Discord. And an extra special shout out to the members on screen. So until next time, may you forever walk in the glorious light of Lord Bahamut, and always remember to keep forging ahead.